Welcome, my beautiful people, to This Week in Review. I'm going to go ahead and get started with answering questions. Today I'm going to answer two questions because they're fairly quick. The first one is very quick to answer. And it comes from Cynthia B&B 637. And it asks, Fernando, I am brand new to hosting and I would like to know what will be the most common problem I will be facing as a new host. And I'm going to answer it this way. It's a common problem that we all will face. And that is coordination with your cleaning and your maintenance people. Right? Whether you have one property or 1,000 property, the coordination between your cleaning people and your maintenance people is going to be crucial, right? Number one, this hospitality business is heavily reliant on making sure that your property is super clean and that it is properly maintained. So coordinating with your maintenance people is going to be very, very important. I highly recommend to make it easy on yourself that you get this is a theme for me, right? Having a PMS system is going to be crucial for your business. But having a PMS system that has either an integration to or is part of your system that coordinates your cleanings and your maintenance, right? So let's just talk about cleaning. Your PMS system should automatically schedule each cleaning. In addition to that, it should give you should have the capability to allow you to set up your checklist for your cleaners, checklist for your maintenance people, and have the capacity for your cleaners or your maintenance people to upload reports, pictures, and videos, right? So that's going to be very, very important that you have that. And that is going to make sure that you never miss a cleaning, make sure that you're on top of your cleaners and your maintenance people, and it will allow you to also generate reports. In addition to that, for me, I really look at it, one of the really important values of having a system like that is for insurance, I like to say. So for example, if you ever get an allegation that the property wasn't properly maintained or it wasn't clean, you can go back to your system and look at when it was last cleaned, look at the videos and how your cleaners found it and left it, and look at the maintenance reports on it to make sure that, or to refute or combat any allegations against you. So that's why that's important. The next question, this one I find very interesting because I'm always talking about it. In fact, this interesting question, but the person who asked the question probably isn't a subscriber, so I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel. And the reason I say this is because I'm always talking about the difference between a real estate photo and an experience photo, right? In our business, we need to have what I refer to as experience photos, not real estate photos. So the question is, can you please describe the difference between an experience photo and a real estate photo? So both serve a purpose, but for example, a real estate photo serves the purpose for a seller. We're not in the selling business here, right? We're in the hospitality business. So our photos need to service our guests. So, and this is why we call it an experience photo. So now I wrote down a couple of things as to what it is, right? The first thing, an experience photo, what's the purpose, as I just mentioned, right? The purpose is to purposely, right, capture the following. It needs to capture the atmosphere, the ambiance, and the overall feel of your property. So that's number one. Number two, it needs to capture the context, right? Like for example, if you look at my background now, right? This background has a purpose, and my photos need to capture what my purpose is. The same thing when you're photographing a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a bedroom. Your design of that property should have a theme, and your photos should enhance that thing. Someone looking at it should be able to tell what it is you're trying to express. So that's what I mean by that. And then the last two things I want to talk about in terms of experience photo is the composition and the usage, right? So an experience photo, when someone looks at an experience photo of, let's say, a backyard, they're going to know, or it should be explicit as to what the usage of that area is. Sometimes, just a bedroom is kind of common sense, but let's say you have a bedroom with a fireplace. Then an experience photo will be having that fireplace on, having maybe either a rug in front of the fireplace with two glasses, so that the viewer can imagine and put themselves in that atmosphere that you're trying to create, right? Same thing in a backyard. You may have a fireplace, you may have a jacuzzi, you may have a pool, whatever, or outdoor kitchen, whatever it is, set it up and take a photograph in which your viewer is going to say, yeah, I can see myself doing that, right? That's the purpose of that. On the flip side, a real estate photo, like I mentioned before, a real estate photo is really more for the seller. And in those instances, you don't necessarily need to have an experience for those, but it needs to be an accurate depiction of your property. Now, the same thing can be said for the experience photo. It needs to have an accurate depiction of the area, but for sales, you can have an empty room. The property can be empty, although I really encourage you to stage the property. But you don't have to set up, like I said, the wine glasses. You don't have to, if it's in my scenario in the bedroom, you don't have to set up the two wine glasses, the rug. That stuff does not need to apply, because oftentimes when you're selling a house, you're probably, depending on what type of house it is, you're probably selling it more towards a family, right? Not necessarily a romantic getaway. Anyway, hope that made sense. If it didn't, go ahead and ask the question and ask me to clarify certain things. But again, hopefully that kind of makes sense. Now, let's go on to revenue. So for this week, let's go back down here. This week we made $58,907.37. An additional fee is $13,731.20. If you notice the last 2 weeks, the numbers are almost identical. We're now into March, and spring break for a lot of people it's over, so we're not seeing the big numbers we're seeing during spring break. We're going to go into April soon, and April, although it's still going to be a good month for a lot of hosts, especially in South Florida, it's not as popular, not as demanding as spring break was for us, right? So, we're not seeing the $70,000 a week that or $68,000 to $70,000 a week that we're seeing. We're back to a little normal. For us, it's between $55,000 and $60,000. Next is going to be, I'll give you that, our booking source. Let's go to the dashboard. Now, I'm going to give you the old way and then the new way, right? So this week, Airbnb again came in number one at 56.1%. Booking.com came in number two at 51%. Booking.com made a big surge this week. Number three was our direct booking. We came in at 31%. Number four, HomeAway at 14%. Marriott came in at 4.9%, and then we have 2% other. Okay, now let's see how that translates into dollars and cents. So came in at 29,000. We came in at 15.3 thousand. Booking.com came in at 5.5 thousand. Verbal came in at 3.7 thousand. And others came in at 3.9 thousand. So I'm giving you these numbers so you can see the difference between, booking source who was the number one booking source, but how that translates into dollars and cents, because I think that's more important. So now let's talk about our project progress. Super excited. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know how excited I am about my vineyard. As I mentioned in the last week in review, we did the pruning, and that was about 2 weeks ago we finished the pruning. But this week, as you can see from, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that the vines are already blooming, the leaves are coming out. For me, since this is my first experience running a vineyard, it's super exciting. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see some more videos about our vineyard. This is the office in the vineyard. We finally finished decorating it. Again, you'll get to see the full office, some of the cool stuff that we have here. I'm just excited about this project. Here's the other projects that we have going on. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already saw. As I mentioned last week and the week before, all the way up to May, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling because we've been hired to optimize a lot of properties. But the most exciting properties that I've been hired to optimize, we just did, right? So they're a combination. Some people refer to them as glamping. Some people refer to these properties as eco hotels. I believe they're a combination of both. But in particular, there's the two big ones that I'm really excited about, I'm going to talk about now that we did was, one is called a Nube Cafetera. Now, these eco hotels that we stayed in, majority of them are in La Zona Cafetera in Colombia. We do have, we're talking with the owners of a eco hotel in Santa Marta that I'm excited about. I actually posted that on my Instagram as well. It's a big project. It's in Santa Marta, Colombia, but it's not near the beach. It's more inland, but there is a river, some beautiful waterfalls in that project. We haven't visited yet, but we're hoping to schedule a visit soon. But the ones we visited, and the one I really fell in love with, and I'm going to be talking about now, is called La Nube Cafetera. Now, I'm going to put that in the description link. Super excited about that one, and the property that belongs to my good friend Diego at La Reserva Guadalajara. La Reserva Guadalajara is in Colombia. There's one in Mexico, but the one that we visited and we're going to be talking about is in Colombia. It's actually in the town of Salento, and the name of it is called Reserva Guadalajara. Again, I'm going to put that in the description notes. So if you want to learn more about that, you can do so, or you can DM me, and then we can, and better yet, DM me, especially if you want to visit that property, or visit La Nube Cafetera. Or if you want to coordinate a group, we can come up with a nice package for you in a group. And I'll talk about some of the stuff that we can do while we're there. But let's talk about La Nube Cafetera. La Nube Cafetera is it's some people will call it glamping or an eco hotel, but it is an experience like no other. If you're familiar with glamping, a lot of people have a version of it, and basically what it is a plastic dome that it serves as your room. And most of the time they'll have a king bed or a queen bed. In this particular one, you have the bed, you have Wi-Fi, you have AC, you have a refrigerator with your drinks, you have a snack station, you have a coffee station. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw it, and you can have a real good visual of it. But that's within the dome. Outside of the dome, you have a beautiful deck overlooking the mountains. You have a jacuzzi. The jacuzzi is a decent size. Now, the jacuzzi fits about 4 people, but this is a 2-person property. Really geared toward, and it caters to couples. It is probably going to be if you go there and visit it, it'll probably be one of the most romantic places you can visit. especially at night. I highly recommend turn on the jacuzzi, get your bottle of wine, and just lay there. There's a cargo net also that you can put a blanket, some pillows, and just lay and look at the stars. The beauty about this place too is its isolation. You're about a 20-minute drive to Salento, but it's isolated. I mean, if you want to walk around naked, you can walk around naked. Now, there is a staff member that stays there, but he stays at the house that's at the bottom of the hill, which reminds me, if you're going to go there, you have to be in some kind of shape, because you do have to climb up this mountain to get to the location. But here's what I love about it, because we got hired to optimize another glamping area, which is referred to as the tree house. Cool location. The property, again, it's on my Instagram, but the property was built around these big oak trees. But the difference is that one is more of a camping style. You're up in a tree house, but there's no AC, there's no Wi-Fi. There are a lot of mosquitoes there. Although it's beautiful, it's a little bit more rugged. The one in La Nube Cafetera, I call it a luxury or glamorous glamping, because you have all the amenities of a 5-star hotel. Shower, in your shower you have your soaps, your shampoos. The shower itself is an experience of its own. It's beautiful. You do have hot water, whereas in the other one, your hot water is hit or miss. But in La Nube Cafetera, again, it's more. There's a lot more luxury to it versus the one in the treehouse. And I really wasn't a big fan of the one that when they contracted. I gave them a lot of things what they can do to make that place better. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like to be isolated. I don't need Wi-Fi all the time. I really don't need air conditioning either. But the problem with this particular place was that it wasn't 100% isolated, and there's glass all the way around. And for me, when I go out there, if I want to walk around naked, which I don't normally do, I don't want people walking around. Although I personally don't mind it, but there'll be people. I'm sure that some of you are not going to feel comfortable on some place that, although it's open, it's not completely isolated. So I made some recommendations on how they can structure the landscaping to make it a little bit more isolated and more, more so that you can feel more comfortable being there without having the fear of somebody actually watching you. Because that's how I kind of felt when I was in that place. And then the other big thing is the mosquitoes. I'm from South Florida. We have a lot of mosquitoes, but we have ways to combat that. In this place, it was very difficult to combat the mosquitoes. Now when you were in the treehouse, because you can take care of that, and you just put the fans on high, and it really takes care of that. But the moment you left there, for example, in La Nube Cafetera, they brought your lunch and your breakfast and your dinner to your location. Here you had the option for them to bring it to you, but there really wasn't a comfortable place to eat, so I ate at the restaurant. But the walk to the restaurant wasn't that close, and when I got to the restaurant, the mosquitoes just ate me up. So, anyways, going back to La Nube Cafetera. In La Nube Cafetera, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see those pictures, you'll see the videos that I put up. It is a phenomenal experience. So if you're looking for a romantic getaway, hit me up, because I'm going to hook you up with this place. It is phenomenal. In this same area, we went to La Reserva Guadalajara, which is actually located right outside Salento. Phenomenal place, great people. My friend there, Diego, who runs the place and is part owner of the property. Just to give you a little history of the property, it has been owned by his family for 5 generations. So they had this massive reserve in La Zona Cafetera. It's a huge place, and it is beautiful. He runs a bed and breakfast there, and he also runs a horseback riding tour that you can go through the reserves. I had the privilege of going out with a group, and we climbed up to the mountain. It's about a 4 to 5 hour horseback ride. You get to the top, you'll have a picnic on the top, eat some snacks, drink some wine. The wine is delicious. And then he'll take you down to some waterfalls, some creeks and rivers, where you actually have to hike. You don't have to get off the horses and hike. So again, just like in La Nube Cafetera, it's really not intended for those individuals that have mobility issues, and or unfortunately, if you are overweight, can't get on it because of the horses, and or if you're out of shape. I don't recommend it. And the last thing, if you fear heights, I don't recommend it either, because you will be going up super high in the mountains. The path is really narrow, so it is a little scary for those people that are afraid of heights, because it's a straight down. But the cool thing is that the horses are trained and the staff is phenomenal. So I at no point felt like I was in fear for my life, or at no point did I feel scared. But I can see people that are afraid of heights, how they could be, because you're way out there. But I posted some videos on my Instagram, just like La Nube Cafetera, and just like this tour. The videos and the pictures don't do it justice. It is truly something you have to experience. And if you're looking to experience that, DM me, because I will hook you up with Diego, and trust me, you will thank me, because it is a beautiful experience. Again, that's if you like this type of adventure. I just can't speak more highly of this place. I am actually going back soon, because I just fell in love with it. As I mentioned before, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. We still have more things to do. In this past trip, my videographer, we spent some time in Medellin. We spent some time in Bogota. You're going to see a bunch of videos come out from both Bogota and Medellin. We spent some time in La Zona Cafetera. And we have a bunch of trips coming up. All the way up to May, I'm booked just about every week doing optimizations for these short-term rentals. The one I'm super excited for is the one coming up in the middle or the first week of April, and that is a trip that I'm going to be taking to Puerto Rico. I haven't been to Puerto Rico in a little bit. For those that don't know, that is where I was born and raised. So I'm going to be spending some days there, helping a host optimize his Airbnb in the San Juan area. So super excited about that. If you are in the San Juan area, or if you're in La Zona Cafetera or Santa Marta, because that's going to be my next trip, is in Santa Marta, Colombia, and you want to hire us to market and optimize your short-term rental, then hit me up so I can try to squeeze you in on these trips. Otherwise, it's going to have to wait till after the summer, because I'm going to be going to Europe in the summer, so I'll be tied up overseas, over on the Europe side shortly. Anyway, my beautiful people, hope this information was useful. If it was, hit that like button, subscribe to my Instagram and this channel if you haven't done so already, and I love you guys.